In this video, I ran Lumos in a real-world stress test with Time Doctor actively tracking in the background. The original session ran for 10 hours and 22 minutes, which has been sped up into a 30x time-lapse so the complete demo can be watched from start to finish in about 21 minutes. You'll see the exact Lumos setup, the full time-lapse test, and then the admin side of Time Doctor to see what an employer or administrator would actually see afterwards, including track time, screenshots, app and website activity, mouse and keyboard activity, and any unusual activity reports. Here is Lumos. Lumos is a desktop application that lets you simulate natural, varying, and unpredictable activity on your computer, including mouse movement, scrolling, clicking, keyboard activity, browser tab switching, and application switching. I've already made a separate walkthrough showcasing Lumos in greater detail. I'll link that in the description below. For this video, we are going to be focusing on a real-world stress test of Lumos. This was not a short sample or a quick demo. Lumos was left running autonomously for over 10 hours while Time Doctor tracked in the background. For this test, Lumos was configured in advanced mode with all the automation settings turned on, all set to medium intensity. The mouse safe zones are set as shown on the screen, with one safe zone on the right and one on the left. The keyboard activity style is set to silent. Time Doctor was actively tracking in the background throughout the session. The original screen recording is continuous and unaltered from the start of the test through to the end. The only change in this video is that the footage has been sped up 30 times so you can actually see the whole thing from start to finish reasonably here in this video. So here is the beginning of the session. What you're watching now is the full continuous recording played back at 30 times speed. The original session ran for 10 hours and 22 minutes, and the time-lapsed version shown here runs for about 20 minutes and 45 seconds. Lumos is active and Time Doctor is tracking actively in the background. From this point forward, there is no human intervention. Lumos continues running autonomously while I step away from the computer, and Time Doctor continues recording until the test is complete. So at this point, several hours of the autonomous test have passed. Lumos is continuing to run without human input, while Time Doctor remains active in the background. With the full session now completed, we can jump over to Time Doctor and review what was recorded on the admin side. Starting with the overall time report, this is the completed test session inside Time Doctor on June 5th. We can see the overall track time here as 10 hours and 22 minutes. Next, let's take a look at the web and app usage report. We can see what we would expect to see from the session, including Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, and Code, which is the Visual Studio Code editor window. We can also see the websites that were accessed during the session, including Lumous, ChatGPT, Stack Overflow, and YouTube. Now we can move over to the screencast section and review the screenshots Time Doctor captured throughout the session. As we go through them, we can review the specific mouse movement and keyboard activity recorded for each interval. The screenshots naturally vary in content throughout the session. And actually, if I apply the identical screenshot filter at the top, we can see that no screenshots are flagged as being identical. The low activity filter also does not show any screenshots or time intervals, since none of the captured intervals were flagged for having activity that was too low. As I go through the screenshots, you can see the Excel row numbers constantly changing, signifying scrolling or simulating up and down arrow keys on the keyboard. The Microsoft Word positioning is different across different captures. And the active windows vary throughout the session. Sometimes Chrome is in front, while other screenshots show Visual Studio Code with different editors, files, and scroll positions open, or Microsoft Word in front, and so on. I'll quickly go through these screenshots so you can see both the visual changes on screen and the mouse movement and keystroke numbers shown at the bottom of each capture. And we wrapped around to the end. Finally, we can jump over to the unusual activity report section. Here, we can see that there are no unusual activity reports shown for the entirety of the session. So, to recap, Lumous ran autonomously for 10 hours and 22 minutes, while Time Doctor actively tracked in the background. You've seen the exact Lumous settings used, the full continuous recording compressed into a 30 times time-lapse, and the Time Doctor reports showing the tracked session data, screencasts, app and website activity, with no unusual activity reports raised during the session. Lumous is available for Windows and macOS with a 7-day risk-free trial and simple monthly pricing with one plan and all features included. To learn more, check out the full app walkthrough linked in the description below, or visit lumous.app to download Lumous and get started today.